Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on the 2nd of April as we continue to bring you the latest stories stemming from Namibia and beyond. In our first story, the Ministry of Mines and Energy has just announced that there will be an increase in the price of fuel, which takes effect at midnight. The price of petrol will rise by 152 cents per litre, that's $1.52 Namibian dollar, and the price of diesel will rise by 72 cents a litre. Moving on, residents of Otwaya, a community in Walvis Bay, have expressed their frustration and discontent over eviction notices recently received by 18 homeowners from the office of the Erongo governor. The residents claim that the eviction letters, which were drafted in 2023, were unfairly issued, causing distress among the community members. Now, according to Nehale Iyampingana, the chairperson of the Otwaya committee, the eviction letters were drafted in August 2023, but were only delivered to the residents on the 20th of March this year. Pinkana asserts that this delay in issuance is unjust and has left many residents uncertain about their future. We were shocked to receive eviction letters that were drafted months ago but only issued to us recently. This is deeply unfair. The eviction notices, which specified a 90-day notice period for the residents to vacate the premises by 24 November 2023, instructed them to return their house keys to the municipality of Walvis Bay. However, residents argued that the delayed delivery of these notices has limited their ability to prepare for relocation adequately. In response to the residents' claims, Michael Jimmy, personal assistant to the Erongo governor, defended the eviction notices, stating that they were issued in August 2023. He highlighted that before the houses were allocated to the residents, an agreement was signed in the presence of the police. According to Jimmy, 31 houses were temporarily allocated to accommodate fire victims who had lost their shelter. Furthermore, Jimmy explained that an assessment was conducted in the presence of the police, which revealed that from the 31 houses, it turned out that 18 houses had been illegally obtained by some individuals. These individuals were instructed to return the keys to the rightful owners, contributing to the issuance of eviction notices to certain residents, Jimmy also stated. Moving on to our next story, Erongo Red announced its decision to declare dividends for its shareholders at a press conference which was held on the 27th of March at the company's head office in Walvis Bay. Chief Executive Officer of Erongo Red, Emmanuel Kanabeb, expressed his excitement. "I am thrilled to announce that our improved financial position has enabled us to declare dividends of 10.2 million Namibian dollars to our shareholders at the annual general meeting held on 29 February 2024 in Swakopmund." He also said this decision represents a significant milestone for the company, particularly in light of challenges faced during and after COVID-19. Kanabeb emphasized the company's commitment to creating value for its shareholders. While we may have had to forego dividends in previous years, declaring dividends this year underscores our dedication to our shareholders. Speaking on behalf of the Erongo Red board, Michael Skinny affirmed the decision to declare dividends after a thorough review of the company's financial results and position. The decision aligns with the provision outlined in the shareholders agreement, paragraph 322, which mandates the declaration of dividends equal to at least 60% of the distributable profits of the company, said Skinny. Now, John Esthazen, acting chief executive officer of the Walvis Bay municipality and chairperson of the annual general meeting, accepted the check on behalf of all other shareholders. Esthazen emphasized the municipality's commitment to providing civic services to their communities and highlighted that the dividends received would be utilized to supplement municipal efforts in improving these services and thereby benefiting society as a whole. In our next story, Namibia has recorded a significant improvement in the safety performance of its aviation sector. According to Namibia Airports Company, this follows the recent Universal Safety Oversight Audit Program continuous monitoring approach, an on-site audit conducted by the International Civil Aviation Organization from 6 to 18 March. Spokesperson of the NAC, Dan Kamati, said that the international audit was undertaken to evaluate the effectiveness of Namibia's safety oversight systems in compliance with the ICAO standards and recommendations. He said that at the closing meeting of the audit held on the 18th of March, ICAO issued the preliminary results for Namibia with a score of 72.31%. In 2016, Namibia's overall score was 57.39%. These results were reached after an assessment of Namibia's effective implementation of when a country registers significant safety concerns in such an audit. Kamati said that it means there is a serious breach of safety standards which can ultimately lead to several airlines shunning the airspace of that country. According to him, results indicated an overall improvement in the safety performance of Namibia, ranking the country above the Eastern and Southern Africa regional average of 60% and the global average of 69.3%. He said that the final report with details will be issued by ICAO after 6 months. According to Kamati, industry practice is that the results do not usually deviate a lot from the preliminary results. He says the country's main ports, NSC, were under spotlight in terms of how we have prepared for this audit, and we at all times demonstrated confidence in our systems, which was key to the country achieving the current score, said NAC CEO Baisi Koria. He said this score was a vote of confidence in Namibia aviation safety systems, a country blessed with opportunities beyond the horizon and very safe to visit and secure. Now, in our next story, Namibia has experienced a boom in tourism, partly due to a number of measures which government has put in place, such as online visa and visa on arrivals. Home Affairs and Immigration Minister Albert Kawana said this at the launch of the visa upon arrival for Oshikanko, Mohembo, Oraniemund, Ariansvlei, and Nodeva border posts. According to him, in 2019, 45 countries' nationals started to benefit from visas on arrival. During 2023, the list was reviewed by adding 11 countries to the list. Now 58 countries can receive visas on arrival. All three categories of passports, being ordinary, official service, and diplomatic passports, are accommodated for purposes of visas on arrival. I wish to make it clear that this arrangement excludes people coming to Namibia for work or employment purposes, which obliges such people to apply and acquire employment permits in advance. He said that the ministry introduced visas on arrival, opening up a number of border posts. Hosea Kotako International Airport was designated on 25 September 2019, followed by Walvis Bay Airport, Katima Mulilo, Ngoma, Impalila Island, and Trans-Kalahari border posts. Kawana said that the Oshikanko Santa Clara border posts will also soon operate on a 24-hour basis, since preparations with Angola are at an advanced stage. Kawana said that upon entry into Namibia, visitors are requested to pay for their visas online because they have installed speed points at designated border points. The money is paid directly into the state revenue account, thereby eliminating temptations associated with handling cash. He said that this decision follows previous positive steps over the past years, where the government has exempted over 60 countries worldwide from visa requirements when their citizens visit Namibia for tourism purposes. Now, the countries which are selected to benefit from visas on arrival are among those where Namibia does not have diplomatic missions, such as embassies or high commissions. The procedure for visas on arrival will require a visitor to complete a visa application form as he or she arrives at the border post, submit the completed application form together with his or her passport to an immigration officer who will process the application on the spot. Upon approval of the application, the immigration officer will request the applicant to make a payment, which is currently at 1,200 Namibian dollars. It is always good to see a boom in the tourism industry. Now, fish was Namibia's largest exported commodity in February, accounting for 22.5% of the total export of goods. After the break, we delve into what that means for the market. Fish was Namibia's largest exported commodity in February, accounting for 22.5% of the total export of goods and predominantly destined for Spain, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia. Fish exports earned Namibia nearly 1.38 billion Namibian dollars in foreign earnings, up 15.5% compared to February 2023. According to data released by the Namibia Statistics Agency this morning, non-monetary gold came second on the list, accounting for 17.6% of the total exports and solely destined for South Africa. Export earnings amounted to nearly 1.08 billion Namibian dollars, an increase of 46.2% year-on-year. In third place was copper and articles of copper, with export earnings of 922 million, 30.5% higher. Now, exports mainly went to Belgium. Petroleum oils stood in fourth position on the list, accounting for 6.5% of the total export of goods, of which 5.0% was re-exported. Petroleum oils were predominantly destined for Botswana, and export earnings totaled 398 million Namibian dollars. Year-on-year, it was down 34.4%. Precious stones took the fifth position and contributed 5.2% to the country's export earnings, of which 4.9% was re-exports. Precious stones were mainly destined for the United Arab Emirates and earned Namibia 316 million Namibian dollars in forex. The top five export commodities jointly accounted for 66.8% total of all the exports. Let's head over to the indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.85 next to the US dollar. 2.60 Namibian dollars gets you 1 Chinese yuan. For 20.27 Namibian dollars, you can get a euro, and to get a British pound, you need 23.63 Namibian dollars. Commodities are all in the green, with the largest uptick coming from platinum, currently trading at $924.03 US dollars per ounce. Stay with us as we head into our story of the day, talking the latest from the University of Namibia. In our story of the day, the University of Namibia's Public Relations and Media Operations Manager Simon Namesho recently clarified the institution's decision to withhold academic records until outstanding tuition fees are paid after concerns raised by affected students. The group of students voiced frustration and disappointment at a press conference last week, saying that the decision hampers their ability to get jobs to be able to settle their fees. To encourage graduates to settle their outstanding fees, the university has historically withheld their qualification certificates while allowing access to academic transcripts records, with the expectation that graduates would return to pay their dues and collect their certificates. However, this approach did not yield the expected results, leading to an accumulation of unclaimed certificates and rising debt, putting the university's finance at risk, Namesho explained. He added that since the end of 2023, this guiding principle has been amended. The university now restricts access to both the qualification certificates as well as the academic transcripts or records of those who have not cleared their dues. Students have been informed about this potential consequence of not paying their dues throughout 2023. Now, according to Namesho, this change aims to ensure that graduates settle their financial obligations, as the academic transcript is often used to secure employment by demonstrating acquired knowledge. Graduates can contact the university's finance department to explore payment plan options for settling their dues, enabling them to obtain their certificates and gain access to their academic transcripts and records. Despite these restrictions and their names appearing in the graduation booklet, graduates are still allowed and welcome to attend their respective graduation ceremonies. Speaking on the issue, former Student Representative Council Vice President at the Rundu campus, Joseph Kadangile, last week said having an updated academic status is crucial for applying to jobs, as employers require proof of completion. Stay with us as we swing over to international news.
Connection. It's in the human touch, the feeling of belonging. It inspires us and empowers us, creates clarity from complexity. It starts new conversations, unlocks the power of advice, and makes an impact on your life. At Alex Forbes, we pioneer insight to provide you with advice that connects your decisions of today to your impact tomorrow.
You are still with Sunset News. Let's get into our international news stories. Gunmen who opened fire at a Moscow concert hall killed at least 115 people. The full report is coming up as we get into international news, and it goes the Ministry of Mines. Sincere apologies. We're going to take a short break before we return with more on that story.
eTicket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Sincerest apologies. We will be giving you more updates with regards to that shooting that happened in Russia as more details continue to unfold. However, continuing with international news, international food charity World Central Kitchen is suspending its operations in Gaza following the death of 7 of its workers in an Israeli airstrike. The charity said those killed were part of an aid convoy that was leaving a warehouse in central Gaza. The Israel Defense Forces said it was conducting a thorough review into the incident. Gaza's Hamas-run media office also blamed Israel. WCK is one of the main suppliers of desperately needed aid to Gaza. It said that it would be making decisions about the future of its work soon. According to the charity, the aid convoy was hit while leaving the Deir al-Balah warehouse, where the team had unloaded more than 100 tons of humanitarian food aid brought to Gaza on the maritime route. The convoy was made up of 3 vehicles, including 2 that were armored. The BBC understands that all 3 were hit in the strike. WCK said it had coordinated the convoy's movements with the IDF when it was hit. A Palestinian medical source told the BBC the workers had been wearing bulletproof vests bearing the WCK logo. The Palestine Red Crescent Society said it had recovered all 7 bodies from the scene of the incident following a challenging operation spanning several hours. The humanitarian group added that the bodies had been taken to the Abu Yusuf al-Najjar hospital in southern Gaza in preparation for their evacuation through the Rafah border crossing into Egypt. The IDF on Tuesday said it was conducting a thorough review at the highest level to understand the circumstances of the tragic incident. We will get to the bottom of this and we will share our findings transparently, IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari vowed. The work of WCK is critical. They are on the front lines of humanity. Hagari added that the IDF had been working closely with the World Central Kitchen to assist them in fulfilling their noble mission of helping bring food and humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. According to WCK, the workers who died were Australian, Polish, British, Palestinian, and a dual US-Canadian citizen. According to Kogat, the Israeli Defense Ministry body in charge of coordinating aid deliveries to Gaza, the charity is responsible for 60% of the non-governmental aid getting into the territory. WCK said in a recent statement that it had to serve more than 42 million meals to people in Gaza since October and had been ready to provide more than 1 million more meals. Now, India rejected China's renaming of about 30 places in its northeastern Himalayan state of Arunachal Pradesh on Tuesday, calling for the move senseless and reaffirming that the border province is an integral part of India. Beijing says Arunachal Pradesh, which it calls Zangan, is a part of South Tibet, a claim New Delhi has repeatedly dismissed. China similarly ratcheted up tensions a year ago by giving Chinese names to 11 locations in the state. Troops of the nuclear-armed neighbors engaged in minor scuffles along their disputed frontier state in December 2022, and tensions eased after extensive military and diplomatic talks. Yet the state is frequently the cause of friction between the Asian giants, whose ties have nosedived since bloody border clashes between their troops in the Western Himalayas in 2020. China, in a statement on Saturday, said it had standardized the names of about 30 places in what it calls South Tibet, in accordance with the relevant regulations on place name management of the State Council. Assigning invented names would not alter the reality that Arunachal Pradesh has been and will always be an integral and inalienable part of India, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said today. Now, on Monday, Indian Foreign Minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar told reporters that changing names would not do anything. If I change the name of your house, does it become my house? He said last month, following a visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the state to inaugurate infrastructure projects. China had said it was opposed to his activities in the region. India termed the arguments baseless. The US also weighed in on the issue, saying it recognized Arunachal Pradesh as Indian territory and strongly opposed any unilateral attempts to make claims on it by military or civilian incursion or encroachments. China had opposed these remarks, saying the matter has nothing to do with the US. India and China share 3,800 kilometers of border, much of it poorly demarcated, over which they also fought a bloody war in 1962. Those have been our international news stories. We're going to head over to the weather. It's looking like it's going to rain across the board, save for Katima Mulilo and Rundu, where partly cloudy conditions are expected. However, 35 degrees Celsius maximum can be predicted for Katima Mulilo, 16 degrees Celsius minimum for the capital, Windhoek. Henties Bay is sunny. Most of the board is looking partly cloudy. However, rains can be expected in Keetmanshoop as well as in Aranos and Mariental. Those have been our weather predictions. Shortly, we're going to swing over to the sports desk.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news first, and it's the clay season that will start for men and women. It's leading up to the Roland Garros tournament that will start later in May. Quite a few tournaments being played on clay. The first one on the men's tour is the US Men's Clay Championship that's played in Houston, and it is Ben Shelton from America that's going to be the #1 seed in that tournament. Not the #1 and 2 seeds in the world playing there this year. It's Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz not playing, but some of the results I can mention: JJ Wolf of the United States, he beat Alex Richard of Canada in the first round, and he beat him by 6-3, 2-6 and 6-4. That's the US Clay Championships in Houston. On the women's side of world tennis, it is also a clay court tournament. It's the Credit One Charleston Open, also in the United States, and it is also no #1 Iga Swiatek or Aryna Sabalenka that's playing there. The defending champion from Miami, that is Danielle Collins, she's playing in the tournament, and she's also going to have tough opposition from the #1 seed, that is Jessica Pegula of the United States, and then also Sloane Stephens, that's also in the tournament, one of the early favorites, together with Maria Sakkari. That is the Credit One Charleston Open being played in the USA. On to cricket news, and it is the T20 World Cup cricket tournament that will start on the 2nd of June. That will be played this year in the United States and the West Indies. The final will be played in the West Indies. And news from the England team at the moment is that the all-rounder Ben Stokes indicated that he will not play in the tournament. Ben Stokes struggling with a knee injury, and he had surgery quite a few months ago, and he didn't bowl also when England toured India quite recently in a test match series. It's England that is the defending champions, and they will play their first game in the tournament on the 4th of June. That will be against Scotland in Barbados. And it's also Namibia that will also play their first game also in Barbados at the Kennington Oval, and that game will be played on the 3rd of June, and that will be against Oman. And closing off today's international sports news, it is rugby news. It is the European Rugby Championships that continue this coming weekend with a round of 16 games. And it's a leading Irish team that is Leinster that's struggling with injuries. It is their scrum half, Luke McGrath, that's also one of the players that's injured. And he has a head injury with Robbie Henshaw, the same injury, and also Hugo Keenan, a hip injury, and Andrew Porter, a shoulder injury. And that was after the Leinster team played against the Bulls. They beat the Bulls comprehensively 47-14. In a URC game over the weekend. It is the Leinster team that will play against Leicester Tigers of England. That will be on Saturday this weekend. In South Africa, it will be the Stormers in Cape Town playing against La Rochelle, the defending champions. That's a French side. And then also the Bulls, they will play against Lyon, and that game will be played in Pretoria. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we'll talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you for staying with Sunset News as we continue bringing you the pertinent stories stemming from Namibia and beyond. From me, Ashwin Berry, and the Sunset News team, don't end your day without us.